Oh, yeah. I feel like I'm underwater right now. My allergies are so bad. My ears are clogged. And then, like, going down the train and into a tunnel, and then my ears are popping. And then up here, I'm like, oh my God. It sounds like I don't want to pop an eardrum by blowing my nose constantly. I don't know, I had an interesting talk yesterday with the gallery, Woodward Gallery. But it was just weird. Like they were less interested in me and more interested in about what's, the drama down here. And it's just like I feel like I got lost in the mix. They keep talking about artists like here, there, this artist named Swoon. It's just like, but I don't know, she's a little, I don't know, she looks at me like I don't exist. I don't know, it's just this whole ego thing. And, they keep trying to pump all these artists that are known and known and known and trying to make that snowball, but like, unknowns, forget it. Like they don't even want to give it a chance. And like, I'm pounding the pavement. I'm at the door. I kind of had a lead on this from another artist I know. And it's just like, it's pouring rain. I got allergies. The guy wouldn't even let me in the door. And I'm like, dude, can you just let me inside so I can talk to you for a few minutes? And what turned out to be like almost an hour-long conversation, which I guess was okay. But then I had to explain to him like the parking meter things I did and other stuff I did, and then it's like he's telling me like, yeah, if I didn't know your work, I wouldn't even let you in the door. I wouldn't even like spoken to you as long as I have. And it's just like, that's the world that we're living in. It's just like, and I'm not trying to use the old work as a crutch. I guess it's just an introduction. But at the same time, it's just like, my God, the limited imagination of everybody, and like not really understanding what I'm trying to accomplish. And it's not anything snazzy or fun or something that can be monetized easily. And it's just like, it's just such an uphill fucking battle. It's just so annoying. But, I've discussed it before that I look at art and I looked at this whole thing. What I'm doing is it's like, yeah, the Beatles started off as a pop band, so did the freaking Pink Floyd. But but then you had stuff like the White Album, and then you had stuff like, Dark Side of the Moon. It's like eventually these pop acts became like these, iconic bands. I mean, they were iconic already, but they didn't stick to just like see Emily play and I want to hold your hand. I mean, that's all great, and that's what I feel like my early work is, or what I call my early work. And I'm trying to do something more sophisticated in this like post street kind of thing, and it's just like, what? So they don't see the brilliance of it as usual. That it's just like there's more, a lot more social messaging, and what I'm trying to present in terms of like a show of trying to make it into almost like an internment camp. I want to dress up like an ICE agent at my own opening with someone in shackles, like and really hit home the whole crime and punishment concept. And like I'm trying to get Dostoevsky on people, and they're like, what? That they just like, oh, do you have stickers? What's your Instagram? I'm just like, dude, really? Like, come on, man. Instagram is for your grandma. It's just like, so are websites. It's way of the dodo. I'm trying to get down to a human level here, and it's just like, what I fear, I'm going to tell one of my other buddies, is that in the end, I think I'm just going to have to take my money or whatever I try to earn and just have a pop-up for like a couple of days where I get to show my wares, have a party, and just call it a day. Not even interested if I sell a damn thing. I don't care. It's really just like that. I just need carte blanche and to show something. And anyway, how it all is. It's just no one cares. After the opening night, you'd be lucky if anybody walks into the gallery or on the closing, and everybody's there for the free wine anyway. Even the most sophisticated people or things I've seen, what do they want? They want wine. They want cheap pre-wine because they're too cheap to, go to a bar these days. It's like you want to know where the crowd is, just go where the table is with the freaking Pinot Grigio. Like, ugh, hate Pinot Grigio. If you know a gallery trick is some places don't actually serve red wine because it stains. So if you want to know a little gallery fact, So that's it. Costco plate, box wine, and and then a pop up. And I just try to, just you have to spend like a couple of grand for that. That's all. I'm not just getting frustrated because they just don't want to understand what I'm trying to do. They ask too many questions too. Like, I don't like all the questions. Just give me your space and shut up. I'm much more comfortable with that. And like, you ask too many damn questions. Like, no, there's not going to be in a T-shirt for the show. There's not going to be stickers and buttons for the show. There's not going to even be like like a postcard. I'm tired of this crap. It's just like they try to keep selling it. It's like you're trying to sell toothpaste. There's only so much Aquafresh. There's only so many variations of Aquafresh you can have. It's like there's only so much fluoride you could pump into the thing that's legal. There's only so much baking soda, and like, oh my God, it's like toothpaste and everything's on steroids because they keep trying to upsell you. It's like, forget it. Like, it's a losing battle. But anyway, I guess good talk. I guess we had a good talk, but talk is cheap. I guess I got them interested in what we got going on here and all this other stuff, but I feel like I'm just going to be swept away into the whole thing. I want to invite them up here. They're going to look past me. They're going to be like, ugh, they're not going to care about it. But at least if we get some people through the door at least once, maybe that'll be some sort of accomplishment. But beyond that, I don't have a lot of high hopes for these galleries, and what they're doing. It's kind of stupid. And I'm not mad. I'm just saying that it's just like, I have a couple of shows next week. Stuff that's just like, easy, poppy, easy sell. With your T-shirts and then your, I don't even want to talk about it because I feel like I'm just dissing people left and right. That's all I do. I diss people because I can't. It's what else can I do? So much of the art is just bad. And yeah, it's my opinion, but it is because it's just so much of what it isn't. It's like you have like it's only like a fifth of the show is even the paintings. The rest of it is just is tchotchkes. And like, okay, well, you can't have this, so you buy this and buy this and buy this, buy all the lower tier stuff and just kind of like clear the path for all the lower tier stuff. Like, well, you can't buy the painting for $2,000, but here's the T-shirt, and it's like I've talked about this before, but it's just like, my God, it's just like it's getting so overrun with that, and how it's blended into street art is just, and the cartoony bullshit is just, wow, what happened to this being the dangerous art form that everybody was worried about? But no. So, you've heard me rant and rave about this before, but anyway, just making some progress in the middle of this whole like me like feeling like I felt so awful last night. I don't even know what to do. I was like trying to claw my own skin off because I felt so bad. But did manage to get some sleep. Feel better today. I sound like awful. I'm gonna try to blow my nose again. Like, well, pop my eardrums. Oh God, that hurts. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, they're so packed with mucus. You have no idea. Attractive. Yeah, and then just preparing for the general like fallout and freak out for the week on needing to vacate the space. I mean, it's all just completely crazy and all coming down. I was like, I don't even know. And I'm so freaking moody. Like, you got to catch me in the right mood with this information. I go from here to like, wow, like out the window. It's very hard to kind of like find oneself in all this insanity. But yeah, it's like it is quite crazy what they're trying to do. It's whatever. I don't even want to go into it right now because I'm not getting a lot of information. And even these people that I talk to at the gallery are like, "Oh, we've heard the doom and gloom scenario before." Like well, you're not there. And this was like a batch email, so like I they don't know nothing. But it's normally, and I was like telling them, it's just like we would leapfrog. And if things weren't delayed with building this Tower 2, that it was supposed to be built by now, the pandemic messed that up and all that stuff, we would be leapfrogging. Like we've leapfrogged before from Tower 4 to Tower 3. We would leapfrog from Tower 3 to Tower 2. But it's like a badly timed leapfrog because they barely laid the foundation for Tower 2, even if they did that much. So that's why it's problematic. And even if they asked us to come back, For Tower 2, it's just like, to move all the way out and then move back in, who knows? So, yeah, a lot of, I don't even know what to say, on the horizon, but trying to, like, eke out something, like just squeeze, like I told him, like, I got a poker under my ass, I'm here, like, kind of like on compressed time. I didn't want to sound desperate, but I wanted to sound like definitely a sense of urgency to what's happening here and what I got going on. Worked so hard, and that's just like, okay, bye. So, yeah. Oh, I'm hungry again.